Good morning, folks. How are we doing this morning? And hope we are doing good. You're welcome to another webinar series that we've got for y'all. Today we'll be talking about the Smart Traders Guide to Support and Resistance. Well, before we hop into that, I'm your host Akinwale Chibuike, and who we'll be talking about a lot of things today: support and resistance, sharing nuggets about the financial markets, and a whole lot more. But first off, if you can hear me, please drop a yes or a good morning, or just drop your favorite emoji in the chat box, okay? If you can hear me properly this morning, brilliant, brilliant. Good morning. How are you doing? Um, okay, yes, if you can hear me, drop a message or your favorite emoji in the chat box. Thank you. Okay, yeah, great. So we're going to have an amazing morning today. We're a bit of more, doing something more technical today. Technical in price today, which is support and resistance. And also we'll talk about other things. Okay, for the new guys down on the call, we'll talk about other things. Good morning, Kelechi. Good morning, Osa. Good morning. Hope you're doing good. Yeah, so as the rule of thumb is simply for conversations with me or anybody in the chat box or in the meeting, drop your message in the chat box. If you've got a question for me, ask your question in the question section so I don't have to start looking for your question in the chat box. And also, I drop polls from time to time on the webinars where I ask for your thoughts, and it's simply a yes or no question. You just have to click on the answers. I drop that in the poll section. Then I don't know if you see the people's section. You can see everybody who's on the call. Uh, Possibly it's someone you know from the Telegram channel or the Telegram group, and you just find their contacts there in the people section. Okay. Good morning, Debbie. How are you doing? It's been quite a while. I saw you on my classes. It's been quite a while. Hope all is well. Hope you're good. Okay. So to the new guys down the call, I'd gladly do the honors of telling you what we do at Eagle Global Markets. Okay. Stanley, hope you're good. Okay. So at Eagle Global Markets, what we offer you is, I always say we offer you the key to financial freedom, because the global market is a $6.6 trillion market, and it's $6.6 trillion daily. Okay, daily. You can make as much as you want from this market. No restrictions on your how much you should be paying yourself from the markets. And yes, so Eagle Global Markets, we offer you access to trade these financial markets. We give you platforms that you use to access the financial markets, to trade the financial markets, be it forex, crypto, stocks, indices, bonds, equities, and a lot more. Okay, we give you access to our platform where you can access the financial markets. And we've got a lot of product for you. Okay, we've got a lot of product for you. We've got the MT4 platform where you can trade the global markets in dollars. You get to trade forex, indices, stocks, equities, CFDs, commodities on the MT4 platform as a derivative product. Also, we've got the cloud trade platform. We've got a new platform coming, but for now it's still the cloud trade platform where you get to trade the financial markets in naira. Okay, you get to trade the financial markets in naira, and the cloud trade platform has a lot of financial. I think about 1,000 financial instruments where you can trade and earn money from easily, without restrictions. And the last product that we have for you is the copy trading platform, where you get to, or we get to give you access to thousands of consistently profitable traders. Okay, thousands of consistently profitable traders where you can copy the trades and make money from the same trades they place. And the most amazing part of it is, it's an automated process. Once you make your minimum deposit of $101 for the copy trading platform, you get access to the copy trading platform, and I personally walk you through on how to use the copy trading platform. I'll show you the tricks I do to look for the right traders to follow, and a whole lot of things. I show you little tricks you could do in case your trader you're following as is that type of trader likes to stay long in the market. I'll show you how to set take profits, your own stop losses, to just give you an edge when you use the copy trading platform. Okay, so yes, that's it on the products that we offer. um let's catch up on what happened over last week. Okay, anybody got anything amazing to share with us from last week? Because last week like was wow. Okay, last week was just wow in the financial markets. I was expecting a bearish dollar last week, and wow, I didn't get a bearish dollar. I just got a dollar that was rising higher and higher. Oh, this week it seems to be bearish, but I'd have to still wait for price to do its thing. Has anybody got something amazing to share before we move ahead? Or real quick, can anyone remind me what we talked about in the last webinar that we held? That was on Thursday last week. Okay, let's talk about Thursday and Tuesday webinar. Can anyone remind me what we discussed on Thursday and Tuesday and Thursday last week? What we talked about? Because I understand it's around psychology and risk management. Okay, when it comes to trading the financial markets, does anybody remember the the topics and the things we talked about in it? Anyone at all? Anyone at all? Wow. So nobody remembers. Okay. So on Tuesday last week, we talked about emotional control, the secret to successful trading, where we talked about you controlling your emotions as a trader to be able to attain an edge when trading. Okay, to be able to attain your edge in the financial markets when you trade. Okay, having an edge in the financial markets when you trade is very, very key. An edge, very, very key. You are able to put yourself under check. Okay, under check when you trade the financial markets, and you would not be making mistakes in the financial markets. We talked about I think four things in that, and we talked about greed. We talked about how you could curb greed, like when your emotions, you're not greedy and all. Because it's $6.6 trillion doesn't mean you have to earn the whole $6.6 trillion. Set a target, set a limit for yourself. We talked about all of these things in Tuesday's webinar last week. And Thursday last week, we talked about the 6 steps to managing risk. Okay, managing risk management generally. We talked about stop loss. We talked about not over leveraging, not over trading, knowing when to stay out of the markets. We talked about all of these things on Thursday, and yes, it was quite amazing. And I just, when we talked about patterns, it was last 2 weeks. Okay, last 2 weeks. It was last week. We talked about market patterns, the head and shoulders, the double tops, double bottoms, and all. That's what we talked about last week. Sorry, last 2 weeks. Okay. And this week, we'll be talking about support and resistance. Okay, but before we hop into support and resistance, have you got any question at all relating to the topic or outside the topic, just the financial markets in general? Have you got any question around the financial market that you'd want to get clarity on before we hop into uh, today's session? Okay, just drop your question in the question section. I give that 5 minutes. Let's drop our questions in the question section for 5 minutes and we proceed. Okay, if there are no questions after 5 minutes, I will just hop into today's topic. Okay, today's topic. I'll just hop into today's topic. Okay, so any question at all about the financial markets? Any question? It doesn't have to revolve around this topic. It could be old topics also. I gladly give clarity on that. Okay, I gladly give clarity on that. Okay, any question at all? My eyes are fixed on the question section. Please drop it in the question section. Don't drop it in the chat box. Okay, drop it in the question section, not the chat box. Bonjour. How are you doing, Samuel? Hope you're good. Oh, morning, Emmanuel. First timer. Please ask your question. Please ask your question. Yes, yes. If you've not traded before, there's like a ton of things for you to go through. Not really a ton, but just 4 things for you to know in the financial markets. Just have a proper introduction of the financial markets, understand the terms and terminologies, understand how to use the platforms. I'd give you a trading strategy that you could start trading with, basic trading strategy that It's very, very. I think I need to show that strategy on today's webinar. I would share the strategy on today's webinar. Okay, I shared one previously, which was how to scalp, and I'll be sharing another again. Morning. Yes. Well, this is more of a basic advanced stuff. Like this class is more of intermediate. But I'd gladly like you to reach out to your account manager, tell your account manager to give you my contact. I would gladly call you and speak to you, walk you through the basics of the financial markets. Okay. Morning, David. Morning. Hope you're doing good. So it's almost 5 minutes and still no question. Let me just give you a quick run through on what we do in the financial market. So basically, we buy and sell. Okay, we buy and sell financial instruments. We trade within price projections, or we speculate on price in the financial markets where it either goes up or goes down. When it's going up, we buy. When it's going down, we sell. That's simply what it is. And terminologies like you're a bull, which means you're buying, you're a bear, which means you're selling. Um, those kind of what's it called? Those kind of terms are just what you need to know, what you need to understand when when you want to trade. Like they are very basic and generic, and it's just something you would catch up on as time goes on. And I'd gladly walk you through the process. I'd be there to guide you, walk you through the process of getting started. Okay. So let's hop into today's deal. Okay. Support and resistance. Okay, support and resistance. We'll be dealing with what is support and resistance, definition, explanation, and its relation to trading, drawing support and resistance, how to find support and resistance areas on the chart, marking support and resistance areas out on the charts. Okay, support and resistance trading strategies, applying support and resistance to your trading arsenal. Okay, um I like to get everybody's perspective. If you've known me for quite a while, I try to get everybody's perspective when it comes to trading the financial market. So, what do you think support and resistance is? I'd like to get a lot of response. A lot of response. What do you think support and resistance is? Support and resistance. What do you think support and resistance is? What do you think support and resistance is? Anybody at all? Okay. Any idea on what? Okay. Wow, we've got a few. Okay. Um, Stanley says point where you consider buying and point where you consider selling. I'll take that. That's simple and precise. I'll take that. That's very, very simple and precise. Thank you for that, Stanley. Okay. We got Olumide said support sustained movement. Um, Chidubem says rejection points. I'll take rejection points also. I'll take sustained movements as something not related to the financial markets. Yes, but if it's the financial markets, I wouldn't really take that. Okay, but what I say is on my webinars, nobody is wrong. Okay, you're all giving your perspective. So someone says potential points of significance at which price action could turn around. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. It is on in the market which price reacts to, representing areas of supply or demand in price. Kelechi, that's an amazing one right there. That's an amazing one right there. Now, do we think before we hop into the whole thing, let's try to get something clear. Do we think support and resistance is the same as supply and demand in the financial markets? That this is for those that have been attending my sessions regularly. Do you think S and R is the same as S and D? Okay, support and resistance. You think it's the same as S and D, supply and demand? Brilliant, brilliant. Ajos is using my example 2 or 3 months ago. I can't really remember when I used this example, but I love that. I love it. I love the fact that it's clean and straight to the point. Okay, Kelechi says yes, that support and resistance is relatively the same as S and D. Okay. Oh, everybody's saying yes. Okay. Yes, we are all correct. Okay. Now, supply and demand. Let's deal with that first. Supply means selling. Okay. Demand means buying. Let's just put it that way. When it comes to the financial markets, okay. Supply means you're selling. That means you're giving out. You're selling, right? Demand means you're taking. That means you're buying. If we relate it to the financial markets, okay. If we relate it to the financial market, it means there are points in price or areas in markets where if we buy too much, there won't be opportunities to buy anymore, so we have to sell. And if we sell too much, there won't be opportunity to sell anymore, so we have to buy. Do we get that? Do we get that? Okay, let me use a life example. You know, I'm a big fan of cars. I like cars a lot, but I won't be using the type of cars I use. Let's just take a basic or a regular Benz. Okay, a Benz is CLE or GLK, and you're driving a Benz towards a road and you see a sign dead end ahead. Will you still drive your car or your Benz to the front? Remember, I said dead end ahead. Will you drive it into the dead end? Yes or no? Would you drive it into the dead end? Yes or no? Real quick. Yes or no? Would you drive it into the dead end? No. Okay, brilliant. What would you do? You'd reverse, right? You'd reverse. Now imagine that as that life example. Now imagine you were supplying. That means you were going front. Then all of a sudden, nobody wants to take your supply again. What will you do? You take your supply back home. That means you bought your supply back. Okay, people were buying from you. That means you were dropping price. People were buying, and all of a sudden you got to a dead end. Nobody wants to buy. You buy your goods back and you take it home. That's just basically supply and demand. Now let's relate it to support and resistance. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so this is everything we're talking about in this webinar. Let's go to the next slide. Yes, I made a bit of a note today for you guys. So I expect us to be with our pen and the paper, take notes to be able to relate to the webinar when you watch the replay again. So what is support and resistance? Okay, so we'll talk about the layman terms first. Okay, support and resistance in a layman term is basically uphold and refusal. Okay, support, you're upholding. Resistance is refusal. Now, support, just normal basic term. When you are asked to support somebody, it means you offer help. And when you offer help to people, you know you're actually helping them go higher, okay, to the top. When you're told to resist someone, you give the person refusal, you don't help the person, and which might lead to the downfall of the person. So from just that word, uphold, it means in the financial markets, support is where price, or at a point in the market where price tends to go higher. Resistance is a point in price where price tends to fall lower or decline. Okay, now uphold is to keep upright, which is to support. That's what support means. Refusal is to decline, which is basically what resistance means. Now, before I go into the definition of or giving you an idea or structure of what support and resistance is in Forex, let's use the example I used 3 months ago. Okay. A boy jumps down from a story building onto a trampoline. What will happen? He jumps down from a story building onto a trampoline. Okay, onto a trampoline. What will happen? Can anyone tell me what will happen? He jumps down from a story building onto a trampoline. What will happen? He will bounce back. It will bounce up again. It will bounce back. Brilliant. Brilliant. What is that trampoline acting as? Is it acting as support or resistance? Basically, that's what it is. It's acting as support, assisting the boy not to get injured, not to break a leg, not to break an arm, not to break his leg or neck, but it's helping the boy go back higher, like back to where he was coming from. Just go back, don't injure yourself. Now, when we say resistance, let's take for instance now, when he bounced back higher, he now bashed into a roof or a decking, okay? A roof or a decking. What will happen to him? Will he continue going up or will start coming down again? Will he continue going up or will just come down? It will fall down. Now, that roof or that decking is resistance. The trampoline is support. Do we understand? Yes or no? Do we understand? If we don't, please don't be shy. Everybody's saying yes. Say no, I'm here for you. Okay, that's why I'm here for you. Now, do we understand basically what support and resistance is? Yes or no? Yes or no? I'd like to get a lot of response on that. Do we now understand what support or resistance is? Or what support and resistance is? I'd like to get more response. I'd like to get more response. Okay, so Osa, let me come again for your sake. I said if a boy jumps off a story building, okay, a story building, and he jumps onto a trampoline, what would happen? What would happen? What do you think will happen if he jumps onto a trampoline from a story building? Will he bounce back higher or he's going to break a leg? I'd like to get your response. I'd like to get your response. Will he bounce back higher or break a leg? Brilliant. The fact that when he jumps from a story building, he will bounce back higher is support. Okay, it kept him upright. It did not make him get injured. Now, if he bounces up and bashes his head into a roof or a decking, what will happen? Will he fall or continue going up? Brilliant. He is going to fall. Now, when he falls, that's just the decking resisting him to go higher. That's basically what support and resistance is. Okay, that's basically what support and resistance is. Now, support and resistance in forex or in the financial market. Support and resistance are points in the market where the market has either made a strong advance. Advance means going higher. That means the boy fell from a story building onto a trampoline and he made a strong advance. That means he moved higher, he bounced higher, or declined. That's when he bashed into the decking and fell lower. And we look to measure on these advances or decline. Now, when it comes to the trampoline and start going higher, we as forex traders or financial market traders, we look to capitalize on that advance. Even if he bashes the balcony or the decking, we look to capitalize on the fact that it would fall down. That means in the financial markets, when you're trading, you can either make money up or down. Now, in the image below, you can see that in the image below, you can see that the point in which price has made a strong advance, the one on the left hand side, see how price made a strong advance. Okay, you see how price started going up from here. That is where the market, or that is where we call support. And where price made a strong decline to the downside, see when price started going down here on the right hand side, that is where we call resistance. Do we understand now? Do we understand now? Yes or no? Do we understand now? I like to get a lot of response actually. Okay. Okay, Emmanuel. Remember we said the boy bounces higher. That's support. The boy bounces lower. We said that's resistance. Now, in the financial markets, look at the right image down below. The image on the right down below. We said the point in which price had made a strong advance is marked by the trader as support. That line, that blue area there, where price came into and moved higher, that is support. Because price fell into that area and started going higher. That is support. And look at the one on the right hand side. See when price went into that red line and started going down, that is what we mark as resistance. Do you understand now? Do you understand? If you do, please let me know. Please let me know if you do. Do you understand now? Just from, I can show you on the chart also. Okay, let's go to a chart. Let me load my charts. Let me load my charts. I want to load on my charts so we can all see it. Okay, sharing my screen right now. Okay, it's loading. So let's look for, well, there's support on that chart, but I don't want to use that chart at all. Okay, look down below here. Okay, just below right here. That area is an area of support. Do you see how price came into that area and started making advances higher? Like every single time it came into that area, it's made a strong advance to the upside. Do you see it now, Emmanuel? Yes or no? Do you see it now? Yes or no? Please let me know if you can see it. Okay, let me know if you can see it. That area I boxed, see, every time price came into it, price went higher. Okay, price went higher, price made an advance. Can you see it? That is called an area of support. Now, an area of resistance. Trying to look for one. Okay, yes, this is one good one right here. Look at it. Every single time price came into this area, we made an advance lower. Even though price came closer to it, we still like very a bit close. We made a decline to the downside. Look at it every time. Let's just ignore that one. Every time price traded closer or relatively into it, we had a decline to the downside. Do you understand now? Can you hear me now? I think my audio is good. My audio is good. If you can hear me, please let me know. Okay. I think you should check your audio. Um, so basically, that's just support and okay resistance on the charts. That's just support and resistance on the charts. I'm waiting for Emmanuel to even say he understands because he said he didn't understand. Manuel, do you understand now? Okay, I think he does. Now let's go back to our slide. Okay, great. He said he understands. Let's go back to our slide. Now to the next thing, drawing support and resistance. I already have an outline here. If you want me to make this into I'm sorry about the sound. I had a bit of an issue with the connection actually. Yeah, so oh, from where exactly, Deborah? From where, so I can explain further, or just drop the questions of what you don't understand, so I explain after the session. Okay. Now, drawing support and resistance. Okay, drawing support and resistance. It's always a good idea to draw the support and resistance areas on your charts. Okay, so don't say you know support and resistance, then you assume that a certain area is an area of support or a certain area is an area of resistance. Okay, now always draw your area of support and resistance on your chart. This way you'll be able to be visually aware where these areas are, and you'll be prepared to trade the markets when price gets to this area of support and resistance. Okay, that's just the logic. Always draw it on your charts. Okay, always draw it on your charts. Always draw it on your charts, so you are able to spot it anytime you want to trade. Now, how do you find support and resistance area on the chart? How do you draw them on the chart? So I created a 3-step process towards identifying support and resistance area on the chart. Now, identifying S and R is straightforward, simple, easy, straightforward. You know what to look for, okay? The first thing is to take a bigger look at the charts, okay? Now, when I say you take a bigger look at the charts, you use a higher time frame to do this, okay? Higher time frame. You can use between the daily 4 hour and 1 hour. I mostly use the daily or the 4 hour. I don't like using the 1 hour. Just my perspective. Sometimes I even use the weekly, okay? But I mostly use the daily and 4 hour. Now, once you look at the daily and 4 hour, you want to look for areas where price reacted, like this right now. Like this is step one. I have an image right there for step one. You look at, oh sorry, you look at a higher time frame. Like this is NZUSD 4 hour time frame. Now the second step is you want to find turning points. Okay, turning points are where areas quickly moved away in price, okay, where price quickly moved away from. Those are turning points. Now you can see in the step 2 image, I pointed out those areas where price moved away from real quick. You could see right there. Then the third thing is you grab a line or a rectangle shape, whichever you want, and you just stretch it across those areas. That's how you draw support and resistance. So let me show you on the real chart. Let me show you on the real chart. Can anyone give us a pair to check support and resistance on? I don't want to choose the pairs this time. Anyone at all? Can anyone give us a pair to check support and resistance on? A financial instrument, a forex pair, a commodity, or an indices to check support and resistance on? Anyone at all? Just give us a financial instrument to check support and resistance on. Okay, GBP USD. Okay, GU. Okay, so GBP USD. And yes, there we go again. Who remembered on our last webinar, I called GU buys, like I'll be looking for buys at this order block. Who remembered? If you remember, just drop a yes. If you don't, there's no need to say you remembered. We remembered I called GU buys from this area right here, and I was like, I'll take profits at this old eye and at this old eye. Well, take profit hit right here. So I didn't have to worry about this old eye anymore. We remembered. Okay, great. You guys remembered. I do that almost all of the time on the webinars, almost all of the time. And yeah, now let's look for support and resistance areas on the chart. So this is a bigger picture. Okay, this is the daily time frame. This is the daily time frame. And I want to look for areas of support and resistance. Okay, so this is the bigger picture. Now let's look at this. I like this thing I'm seeing right here. Now I've seen what price is doing. This is an area where price turned sharply, price turned sharply, price turned sharply, price turned sharply, price turned sharply. So there's no need for me to put arrows on it. I'll just drag a line through it. And anytime price traded, now this is what I always do. So let's say, for instance, I marked out this area. All I'll just do is I would zoom in. I would zoom in into this area. And anytime price comes back into any of this area, I'll look for selling opportunities. I'll just look for opportunities to sell GBP USD. I'll just be looking for opportunities to sell GBP USD. Anytime price comes back into this type of area, I'll be looking for opportunities to sell GBP USD. And look at what we had right there. It sold, it melted down big time. Like this was 4 hour on a daily time frame. You should know that'll be like 400 points. Like just every single time you see an area of support and resistance, you look to react to price. Okay, you look to do something to price. You look to either trade in alignment or look for a reason not to trade in alignment with that area. Now look at this right here. We have an area of support and resistance. Now, another thing we do as traders as mistake is we try to look for perfect support and resistance. Now, I promise you one thing: there is no perfect support and resistance. Just draw your support and resistance as you see it dim fit. Okay, as you see it dim fit. There's no perfect support and resistance. Okay, there's no perfect support and resistance. Just draw it the way you see it dim fit. Just don't force it. Okay, just draw the way you see it fit and look for like now. This is resistance up above. Let me just put it color red because resistance we look for selling opportunities there. So let me put that as color red. Support we look for buying opportunities. Now within this support and resistance area, we still have more support and resistance area like this. See, price acted as resistance, 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 resistance. See, price acted as support here. We still have something like that down below here. So the logic or the idea is once resistance breaks and goes higher, let me show you an example. Let me show you an example. Okay. Yes. I think I like this one right here. Okay. Once resistance breaks, let's pick it from the candles. Once resistance breaks, it always tends to act as support. Once support breaks, it always tends to act as resistance. That's just the logic. Now look at this small area of support that we have here. Support, support, support. It's broke and acted as resistance, resistance, resistance before breaking and acting as support again. So like once support breaks, it turns to resistance. Once resistance breaks, it turns to support. Now, how do we identify strong support and resistance? Drop that in the question section. I'll attend to it in the question section. But for now, talking about drawing support and resistance and how to find support. Okay, so what I said, very sorry about that. What I said was, do we now grasp the idea behind how to draw support and resistance and how to identify support and resistance. Do we all understand the idea behind it now? Yes or no? Do we understand the idea on how to draw SNR now, and also how to look for it based on what we discussed? Okay, I'll take it over one more time. One more time. Now, drawing support and resistance is always best to draw it on a chart. Okay, like I said, it's always best to draw support and resistance on the chart. Don't just put in your mind or say in your mind, this is an area of support and resistance. Always draw it out. Okay, always draw it out. That's the best thing to do. And how do we find support and resistance areas on the chart? Okay, I said the first step is to use the higher time frame. Use between the daily 4-hour and 1 hour. Okay, use the higher time frame. Second thing I said was to find turning points in price. Once you see the higher time frame, the next thing you want to look for is where price quickly moved away from. Those are your area of support and resistance. Once you find these turning points, okay, once you find these turning points, just place a horizontal line or a rectangular shape drawing tool on it. Okay, now look at the first step on the slide. The first step was the 4-hour time frame, just showing you the 4-hour time frame. The second step was me pointing out the quick movements in price. Okay, the quick movement away. You can, yes, you can use your phone to draw it. You can use your phone to draw it. If you're using the MT4, you can use your phone to draw it. If you're using the cloud trade, you can use your phone to draw it also. If you're using the cloud trade on a PC or MT4 on the PC, you can draw it with your phone. Everything you can do with your phone, okay? Now, the third thing is to now add the line. That's the third step. Add the line to point out these areas. Let's go to the charts and see one more time. So I'll be using Wall Street in this instance, okay? I'll be using Wall Street. Now let's pay close attention, please. Let's pay close attention. So I'll be using the 4-hour time frame, okay? Now let's look at this. This is an area of resistance. Why did I mark this point as an area of resistance? I marked this point as an area of resistance because every single time price comes back into this area, we have price reversing to the downside. Okay, we have price reversing to the downside every single time price came into this area. Now look at it closely. We had a sharp move into it, then a sharp move away from it. That's how I termed it as an area of resistance. Now, what do I do once I point out these two areas? The logic is the next time price comes into this area, I'll be looking for selling opportunities. Remember, resistance area, price has to fall away from it. Now, let's take, for instance, these were the only two areas I saw. What would happen is, next time I see price come into this area with this bullish candle, I will take a sell position on it. Okay, I will sell right here. I'll sell right here. Okay, that's what I will do anytime price comes back into it. Now, even if I drag it further into price, once price comes back into it here again, I will still sell because I believe it has held previously as an area of resistance, and there is a tendency, 80 to 70% tendency that this would also hold as an area of resistance. Now, do we get the whole logic behind resistance now? Just from what I explained, do we get the logic behind resistance? I'd like to get more response actually. Yes, it's so remember I didn't say it works 100% of the time, okay? Don't get me wrong, Phillips, okay? Don't get me wrong at all. I said I'll be looking for selling opportunities every time it comes to that area. I didn't say I'll be looking for buying opportunities. I didn't say it won't buy. Sometimes it fails, okay? I'm not saying it wouldn't buy. I'm not saying it wouldn't sell. What I'm saying is every time it comes into that area of resistance, the tendencies of it selling is higher than the tendencies of it buying. Do you get now? It's basically common sense. Okay, it's basically common sense. That's just it. Now, let's go back to looking for support. Remember, that's resistance. Let's go and look for support. Okay, this was resistance. I explained resistance here. See how sweet it's reacted. Like if I saw it react twice here, once I see react twice here, this third time I will just take a shot and I'll melt it down to the downside. I just melt down on it. That's what I'm talking about. That's basically resistance right there. Now let's talk about support. I'll use this as an area of support actually. Okay, so let's use this as an area of support. So look at this area right here. That was like a bearish candle, sorry. So we had the first move to the upside here, the second one right here. The third one is confirmation for me. I'll be looking for buying opportunities here. And look at what happened. Went all the way to the moon. Right there. Went all the way to the moon. Let's go and look for another buying opportunity. Okay, like this right here now. Look at this. This is support. Okay, this is support right here. This is resistance right here. This is resistance right here. This is support. This is support here. This is resistance here. Like these things are easy to spot. These things are very, very easy to mark out. Let's see something on ARGBP. Like these are just areas where once you see price trade into it, look for an opportunity that is in alignment to the definition of any area it trades to. If it's resistance, look for selling opportunities. Look at it, sweet meltdown. If it supports, look for buying opportunities. Look at it. This was, yeah. Now, you guys remember this? Does anyone remember this ERGBP sell that I called last week? Anyone? I dropped it on Telegram channel actually. Who remembers this ERGBP sell that I called last week on Telegram group? It's just based on support and resistance also. This was resistance right here. I missed the trade. I didn't even take the trade because I was very, very conservative. This was what? Resistance, right? I missed it here and I wanted it to resist here also. I wanted it to resist here, but price didn't get there, so I didn't take the trade. That's just basically support and resistance. And look at what happened. It melted down. I know someone made money from it. Someone confessed on the group that I made money on it, and like it's touch take profit. And we have this take profit acting as support. Look at what we have. Immediately touch it, start acting as start going up. You see now, like it's scripted. That's how it will behave. That's how it will behave. That's just how it should behave. in price, and that's basically support and resistance. Basically support and so do we understand how to draw support and resistance? Identifying support and resistance and drawing support and resistance. Do we understand it now? Yes or no? Okay. I'd like to get a lot of response. I'd like to get more response. Do we understand support and resistance now? Okay. Now let me share my screen. Okay, let me go over it briefly again. So I said support are areas where you look for buying opportunities. Look at this right here. Price went up, price went up, price went up. And I said resistance are areas where you look for selling opportunities. That's just like the best term to explain it. Okay. That's like the best term to explain it. Support, you look for buying opportunities. Resistance, you look for selling opportunities. No, not at all. Not at all. You're not stressing me. I'm here for you guys. Okay. So like I said, support are areas where you look for buying opportunities. Resistance are areas where you look for selling opportunities. Now you might be wondering, how do I know that support is support? How do I know resistance is resistance? Now I don't use support and resistance. I don't just use support and resistance like that. Okay. I don't just use support and resistance like that. I use support and resistance with other things like indicators, okay, like moving averages. Okay, now the moving average I'm experimenting now is, I will give you guys the value, the 18 moving average and the 50 moving average. Okay, someone told me it does magic, like a very close financial analyst gave this to me. Like when price comes into resistance, see what happens. The crossover happens, and this is like a confirmation to sell. Instead of selling here, you could be more. Well, it's for conservative people though. If you're not conservative, there's no need for you to use it. Like, see, it's just sold off. Look at it when it trades higher. We cross with them. We don't feel like as if you've missed a move. This is like being more conservative. Imagine you entered there and you just continue going down. This was like being more conservative. Now, if this will trade higher and there will be a crossover, I'll be looking for buying opportunities. But if you go to the 15 minutes time frame, the crossover had already happened. So, like, this would be like a good buy to the upside. If I'll be buying here, my take profit will be here. Remember, I want to take profits at every old highs and every old lows. Exponential. You altered your moving averages. You remember the old figure I gave you was 9 and 18. If you are still using the scalping idea, use the 9 and the 18. Exponential, it's exponential moving average. Okay. Now let me share my screen back to the slide. So what you can do there is just, Phillips, you can just delete it and add a new moving average. Well, if you don't remember the figures, I'm here. I'll help you with the figures. Just remind me which of the classes, which of the figures I talked about. Now, support and resistance trading strategies. Okay, there are many strategies that revolve around support and resistance. There are many strategies that revolve around support and resistance. But at a good global market, we are concerned about giving you the best. So we're talking about two of the most proven strategies among them. Okay. The first one is the range trading strategy. Now, when we say range trading strategy, there's no general direction, okay? There's no general direction when you're trading in a range. So when you are in a range, we use this approach coupled with an oscillator, okay? An oscillator like the RSI or the stochastic. We use it to look for overbought and oversold trading conditions. Then we trade in alignment to that condition. Now, let me show you on the chart. Also, the other one is breakout trading strategy when it breaks out. Now, let me show you on the chart. Let me share my screen. I'll be explaining it in detail, so let's pay good attention. I'll use the 1 hour for this. Trying to look for the perfect range. ERGBP range is a lot, so I'm trying to, yes, found one. Okay, so this is a range right here. Okay, price is trading within 2 points. So this is a range right here. Now, how do you trade this range? All you need to do is you add an oscillator. I'll use the stochastic RSI in this condition. Okay. Now, how do you trade this approach? How do you trade this type of approach? It's very simple. When price goes up, now let me point it out to you. Let me just mark out all those areas. Okay, these are just the 3 areas we got an opportunity. Now look at this. Okay, I'm trying to draw those areas out for you guys to see it. Whoa, okay. Okay. Okay, now let me zoom back in so you guys can see it. Now, let's take a closer look at. Now, how do you trade the support and resistance range strategy? Okay. Now, remember, we said if price rejects on top, it's resistance. If price rejects below, or start trading higher from below, it's support. Now, look at this resistance here. Look at how the stochastic crossed to the downside and how price got to that area here. So if I was you, I would take a selling opportunity right there. Let's say I took a sell on this candle, retest of OB right here. You would have been risking, let's say, 5 pips as stop loss. And you would have made 41 pips. Okay, 41 pips. That's 1 to 8 R. That's 8% of your trading account that way. Let's look at this also. Let's say you bought from here. Okay, let's say just this bearish candle. That's your retest of OB. 5 pips stop loss. Well, okay, 10 pips stop loss. And this is your take profit. Let's just right there. 2 pips stop loss. And wow, that's one big how would I put it? That's one big entry. I mean, one big trade right there. 2 pips as a stop loss, and you want to catch you want to catch like 34 pips. So that's how you trade a range bound strategy. Range bound. Just look for support and resistance in a range. Look for opportunities in alignment with the stochastic or any oscillator you're using. Buy and sell. Buy and sell. Look for that's simply what it is. Okay. It's very easy and straightforward. You buy and you sell. Nothing difficult at all. It's not difficult, very easy. Now, if we talk about the breakout, okay, the breakout strategy. Now, let me show you the breakout strategy. The breakout strategy is simply this is a range, and look at what price did. Look at what price did right here. Look at what price did right here. So price was in a range previously, and look at what we had. We were in a range and we broke out, came for a retest, and well, we melted down big time. So that's how you trade the range bound and the breakout strategy. So it's not difficult. It's never been difficult. It's very easy to trade once you just identify these things on your chart. So that brings us to the end of today's webinar. And here's the conclusion. So let's go right into the conclusion. Okay, let's talk about the conclusion. No, not at all. So let's drive direct into the conclusion. Support and resistance area in Forex are turning points where the price action is likely to reverse. Okay, these levels can be visually expressed on the Forex chart or on the financial instrument chart, whichever. A support level is located below price. Okay, remember I said support, it's below. You bounce from below, okay, below price, where you look for buying pressure at those areas. Okay, why resistance level is above price, where you look for selling pressure. To draw a support or resistance area on the Forex chart, you should identify where area has created a swing level. That's a sharp price move. Then you draw a rectangle from the left to the right to mark the area. To trade support and resistance methodology in Forex, you buy when price bounces upward. Remember, I'm not saying you buy at support. You buy when the price has bounced upward. Okay? And you place a stop loss below the zone. You sell when price has bounced downward from a resistance area. You place a stop loss above the zone. And you hold your trade until price reaches the opposite level. Well, I don't advise you holding your trade. Just have a target in mind, okay? Just have a target in mind where you want to take your profits from. That's just the logic with it. So this brings us to the end of our webinar today. And before I go, I want to take questions. Okay, have you got any question at all? Have you got any question at all on everything we talked about today? I'm waiting for a question. I'm expecting questions actually. Okay, and I'll be sending this file right now, downloaded format to Telegram group. So have you got any? If you've got any question, I'll be sending the file, the PDF format of the file, to the Telegram group right now. Right now, sending the PDF format to the Telegram group right now. Okay, yes, sending the file to the Telegram group right now. Okay, I'm sending the file. I'll attend to the questions in 2 minutes. Let me just drop the file. Sending the file. Just reach out to me on Telegram. Whatever you want to ask me, just ask in the Telegram group. Ask in the Telegram group. I'll attend to it. If you're not on the Telegram group, I will drop the link right now. I send the link to join the Telegram group right now in the chat box. There's no way to know that. Okay, price just has to break that level before price just breaks the level. If you want to, there's no way you can know. Where there's an idea to know, but it's not verified actually. Okay, the lines just help you spot those S and R areas. Okay, they just help you spot those support. Remember, it is important to put this line so you don't assume. So you don't assume that you know these areas. Okay, it's important to identify the time frame you're using. If you're using the daily, then you want to capitalize on those support or resistance areas on the lower time frame, like the 4 hour, on the 1 hour. Okay, I'm still open to taking questions. That's the link to the Telegram channel. That's the link to the Telegram channel. I answered your question, Chidubem. I answered your question, Osai. Any other question? Any other question? Okay, any other question? House. So I'll be sending 3 polls out. Okay, I'll be sending 3 polls. Um, Sending out 3 polls right now. So I just sent out 4 polls instead. Let's respond to it. I'm going through the chat box and the question section right now. Brilliant. Reach out to your account manager. I would personally create a 4 playlist. Okay, just 4 videos that 0 to hero real quick, and you can start trading. I do that and I pin it on the Telegram channel. Okay, so watch out on that on the Telegram channel. I would respond to your message on Telegram. Also, you could drop a message on Telegram. I sent polls already. I sent polls out already. Please respond to it. Thank you. So yes, this brings us to the end of today's webinar. Now, before I go, the financial market is one of the best places to grow your wealth. Okay, it's one of the best places to grow your wealth. And you hear traders saying, you buy low and you sell high. But I let everybody meditate on this. Okay, what if you can buy below an old low and sell above an old high? Wouldn't that be great? But all in all, good luck and good trading. Catch you in the next webinar. Bye for now.